Alright, now before we get into the nitty gritty of this video, let's cut the bullshit. I love Nintendo more than any other company in the world, but Nintendo has faced so much controversy and drama in the past week that it's about time that I join in. In this video, I'm going to address 5 major problems that I think could destroy the Nintendo Switch 2's launch. Alright, now I know I have a whole separate video about this alone, but I feel like I haven't scratched the surface of how disappointing this is to most Nintendo fans, myself included, because I made that video. The Switch 2's UI is literally, bar none, copy and paste of a Nintendo Switch. Now, like I said in that video, to say I'm disappointed is an understatement. I'm very disappointed. And to think that Nintendo thinks that this is a good idea, that we'd all, as a community, as fans, would be okay with this, it's mind-boggling to me. At least give us themes. At least allow us to download themes on the eShop, hopefully, but it doesn't look like that, because the eShop looks exactly the same too. They literally look exactly the same. Now, I know the whole point of the Nintendo Switch 2 is that it's supposed to be an upgraded version of the Switch, but at least change some things. The home screen looks the same, the eShop home screen looks the same. It's disappointing to all of us, because we wanted something more personality-driven, like Wara Plaza with the Wii U, or something like the 3DS, because at least on 3DS we could download themes, but on Switch, there's none of that. No personality, you only have 2 colors for themes, black and white. It's fucking bland. There's nothing good about it, it just looks bland, and they're copy and pasting the same thing on Switch too. It's a problem. Some Nintendo fans might be okay with it, but majority of Nintendo fans were disappointed because we at least wanted something with more personality. Alright, now let's get the most obvious one out of the way. Mario Kart World is $80. Now, most Nintendo fans are very upset about this, and that's where Nintendo has gotten the most hatred and controversy in the past 2 weeks since the Switch 2 Direct. Me personally, I think Mario Kart World is worth $80, but I can kind of see where Nintendo fans are coming from as to how upset they are with Nintendo, because how the fuck is your launch title the same price as some Joy-Cons on Switch 1, but Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70, pretty much the same price as Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I don't know much about Nintendo and the tariffs, but I do know the pre-order had something to do with that. Now, most things have gone up in price because Nintendo announced that pre-orders are going back up on April 24th. Most things have gone up in price. The Joy-Cons are $95. That is self-explanatory. And Mario Kart World has stayed the same. But if Nintendo would just come out and give us transparency where it's needed and explain to us or apologize to us why Mario Kart World is as expensive as it is, all of these problems and all of these videos of people criticizing Nintendo could have been avoided. But I do not work in Nintendo. I don't work with Nintendo. I'm not Nintendo. So whether or not they want to take responsibility for what they've been doing with Mario Kart World is up to them. I don't work at Nintendo, but if I were them, I would probably come out and explain why Mario Kart World is the same price as some Joy-Cons on Switch 1. Alright, now I'm going to address a smaller problem that I don't think is going to break the Switch 2's launch, but it will definitely be a problem that we will have to face for the next several years of its console's life if Nintendo doesn't do anything about it. So this has something to do with the eShop. Now, one big problem that a lot of us have with the Nintendo Switch's eShop is that not only is it laggy as fuck, there's also no personality to it, which sounds a lot like something I mentioned already in this video. But the eShop is very laggy, and I have personal experience on this. It's very laggy, there's no personality to it, like I said, and I hope Nintendo can fix it to make it more faster along with Nintendo Switch Online, but that is for later on. The eShop needs to have a better load time instead of taking like 5 seconds max for it to load, and skip passwords. If I gave you my password once, why do I need to give you my password every single time that I enter the eShop? And I barely enter the eShop as is, so why do I need my password every time I enter the eShop instead of just going there randomly on command? Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about before we roll has something to do with Nintendo Switch Online. Now, I can speak for all of us when we say that we all as collectively have problems with Nintendo Switch Online, and if I were to address all of them, we'd be here until the day of the Switch 2's launch. But I'm only going to address one of them. Now, most people have a problem with how Switch Online is laggy and how you have to pay $50 for N64 games when I can go to a retro video game store and find one for cheaper. And Sega Genesis. I don't like Sega, so we're not going to talk about them. But paying $50 for N64 games is kind of a stretch. Me personally, I would set it at like $30, I guess. But I'm not Nintendo again, so... But that's not the problem. They keep on drip feeding us with games, and I hope they don't do this with Switch 2, considering GameCube was announced to come to Switch 2 and not Switch 1. And I hope they don't drip feed us with games, because I really want to play Mario Strikers, and I really want to play the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, and I don't want to have to wait 6 months for Nintendo to finally put these games on Switch Online, because they do it all the time with Switch on Switch 1, but I hope they don't do it on Switch 2, because it's kind of getting old, and they should at least give us 2 games a month, bare minimum, and not drip feeding us like they did with Nintendo Music. Now, I don't want to end this video on such a negative note, but I have to. I love Nintendo. I love what they've done. They've done great things the past couple years. Some of them have been bad, and we're addressing them in this video. But I want to see better from Nintendo. It's like Beat 'em Up said. He wants to see better from Nintendo, and I'm pretty sure we all want to see better from Nintendo. They need to wake up to the music and understand that we're not okay with what they've been doing with the Switch 2. We're not okay with Mario Kart World being $80. We're not okay with the Switch 2's home screen being exactly the same. We're not okay with putting Switch 1 games and giving them their own editions on Switch 2. Some people are, but majority of us aren't, because your console is literally backwards compatible from launch. But we're not okay with this, and Nintendo needs to understand that, and hopefully they can turn the Switch 2 around. But like I said, I do not work at Nintendo. I'm not Nintendo, so whether or not they want to fix their problems with Switch 2 is up to them. Either they can fix this and have another Wii or a Nintendo Switch, or they can have another Wii U. But again, I don't work at Nintendo, so if they want to face their allegations, that is up to them. I'm just a kid, so thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. This is Dallas M, and I'm out.